morning and warm Pacific greetings. We are back with another episode and we are so happy to be here. I'm very excited about today.
Morena whānau.
Morena Isoa, thank you for coming to the show. We have a very special guest today.
I know, she's great. She's amazing.
She's awesome.
And
we
she
love
smells
her.
nice too.
Yes.
When she came in and hugged me, I was like, oh, Tina, you smell nice.
Oh my gosh, we were so excited about the show. But our special guest for this morning, how are you, Ernestina? Bonsu Maro, how are you today?
I am feeling so fine, and I was happy because Saw said I smelled good. So the other days, am I smelling?
Yeah.
Smelling great.
So for our viewers who are tuning in today, if you don't know who Tina is, but I know a lot of you already know who she is the CEO and director of EBM Artistry. It is a talent agency that focuses on recruiting EBM models, and with its slogan, be you and be fearless. It focuses on helping to bring out the beauty of our Indigenous people and finding inner beauty and making it visible. I think that's so awesome. She's also a producer. She's a host for 531 PI. Shout out to 531 PI. She loves her community. She loves dance. But most of all, she has a heart and passion for our people, which is what I love about her the most. And she's got so much to share with us today. How's your week been?
Oh my God, fam. I'm just feeling like you guys are bringing me vibes. So my goosebumps and my afros probably got a little bit bigger. But the week's been so lit. It's been amazing. We've been out and about with our community, but also what's been happening with the flooding and all of that.
Absolutely.
So bringing the good vibes and also just keeping it lit and happy. So
Yeah.
week's been great, fam.
Well, we're so happy to know that you're doing well, and especially the work you've been doing around helping the community with the floods. Our poor ingas out in Mangele, man, it was so bad. But thank you so much for your work, Tina. We really appreciate it. On today's show, we usually talk about things that are going around in social media circles and some problematic issues that is in relation to our Pasifika communities. And Isoa is going to take us on a journey.
I want to take you guys on a journey because, this poet here, the young Tusiata Avia, there have been calls from certain people on the political spectrum
Yeah.
to, pull funding from her because she penned a poem that's they called racist.
They said it was racist.
Yeah. So do you?
They said it was an attack on white people.
Yeah, it was an attack on white people.
Damn.
You guys mind if I read you guys the poem?
Of course, yeah. Let's go for it.
Take me to the light.
Take you to the land.
Freedom.
All right, gonna have to straight face this.
Okay, let's do this.
Okay. Hey James, yeah, you in the white wig, in that big endeavor, sailing the blue water like a big you. James, I heard someone shoved a knife right up into the gap between your white ribs at Kealakekua Bay. I'm gonna go there, make a big makahiki luau, cook a white pig, feed it to the dogs, and you up. Hey James, it's us. These days we're driving around in SUVs, looking for you, or white men like you, who might be thieves, or rapists, or kidnappers, or murderers, yeah, or any of your descendants, or your incarnations, 'cause we're gonna you up. Tonight, James, it's me, Lani, Danielle, and a car full of brown girls. We find you on the corner of the Justice Precinct. You've got another woman in a headlock, and I've got my father's pig hunting knife in my fist. And we're coming to get you, sailing around in your resolution, your friendship, your discovery, and your free love. Watch your ribs, James, 'cause I'm coming with Kalani o Pu'u, Ka Neka Pōlei, Kana Ina, Kia We'o Pala, Kuka Ilimoku, who was a god, and Nua'a, who was king with a knife. And then, James, then we're gonna you up for good. By Tusiata Avia. I hope I didn't butcher it. But yeah, that was her poem.
That was the poem.
God
Yeah.
damn, is my hair still on?
Yeah. I thought
Is
that
it
was
ringing?
real.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was her poem.
Wow.
So that was the poem that
Yeah.
upset
God
so many
damn.
people. Poetry is art to me, man.
Yeah, it is.
You know how many films we have, how many like books that we have on history that's been remade and has these things. But now this is problematic. This to white New Zealand, certain white New Zealanders. You know, they're saying that it is racist. It is an attack on the ancestors of James Cook. How do you guys feel about this poem? What do you guys think about it?
Yeah, what do you think of what I just read to you, Tina?
Damn, you know what? That was powerful. I have to say that's like it had all the emotions there. I was laughing and then I was like, I felt like someone was going like this to me while I was listening to it.
Right.
But because that's how powerful it was.
Mm.
And I think like it was real because this is how someone's feeling inside. And why do we always put like a seal around something? and
Yeah,
be
like, don't be too angry. Don't be too sad. We don't want to
Yeah.
see you cry.
We
It's
don't
going to
wanna-
make us frail.
Exactly. So
Mm.
when Saw was like saying it how it is, and this is why I love it, she was expressing how it is. And I think like when someone's actually being real with themselves for the first time, that's how I was kind of looking like, oh,
Mm.
oh my God, is Saw saying what I think he's saying? Because I was
Yeah.
just like, this is a real ass poem.
Mm.
And she went there.
Absolutely.
And I think they hurt. Because if someone was, like, for example, if someone was saying that about my ancestry line or, you know, of course I'll get angry, but you got to respect the truth behind it as well. Like,
Mm.
whoa, that he really did that.
Yeah.
And he really did that to some of our people. So
Mm.
we just gotta, for me, the way I see it, like, oh man, history is history, eh?
History is history.
History
We got
is
to.
history. We gotta,
yeah.
like, when you're trying to surf, but sometimes we always fall.
Mm.
We're trying to surf. We gotta just go off the wave. And imagine if someone white was kind of saying that from our perspective as Polynesian or indigenous, we gotta take it by the, take it by the hair, take it by the afro and be like, oh, that's someone expressing how they're feeling.
Mm.
So kudos to her, man, for
Yeah.
just. Wait, is that a girl or guy?
It's a girl.
Okay,
It's a woman.
girl, I love it. But I just have to say, thanks for being real. Thanks for putting it and saying it that way. I don't know why people are cutting out the funding for just for someone.
They're calling for the funding to be pulled.
Yeah.
Why?
I can see why. This is not a poem that you
Wait,
read
why
to
can
your
you
kids.
see why?
Whoa.
Because I can dive into this deep and really dissect the
No,
words.
I can see why, because a lot of people who would look at it from the point of view of history's. You said history's history, and should just leave it in the past. What they did. I'm not a colonizer. I didn't colonize.
It's not my fault.
It's not my fault.
Get out of here.
I'm not benefiting from what James Cook did. Are you
That's the
sure?
question.
Are you sure? So so a lot of people who are offended are just kind of like, oh, so so when the shoe's on the other foot now and we're venting our anger,
Right.
as brown, as indigenous people who got taken advantage of, now all of a sudden, oh, it's wrong.
Mm.
And I'm kind of, and I see where you're coming from, where you're like, cool, vent your anger, but I also can understand why some people will look at it and be like, oh, this is getting angry at us white people, but no, not really. It's getting angry at white people who are murderers, thieves, and rapists. So that's where I kind of see it. Like, I see where it's coming from. It's like, oh, if anything, this poem is encouraging vigilantism.
Yeah.
It's encouraging Batman.
Somehow we always got to go back to Batman with Esau, but I totally get where you're going.
Love that. I love that.
Because Don't trust the police.
Yeah, don't trust the police.
Nah, but
The son of the police.
but I'm just gonna say, if anything pops off, you should call the police because you can't call Batman
Yeah.
because he's not real.
Mm.
FYI.
Yeah,
Yeah, Kamala.
for sure. I think my initial thoughts around it was I read it and I cracked up because I was like, I didn't know this is how you could do poetry. Like, holy crap, I'm going to start writing
yeah.
poetry now because this is so cool. Like, she's expressing in a way Islanders express. Like, bro, we're going to come and stop you, bro. You wait, man. We're like around the corner. And I love that she incorporated that into poetry because I personally have always seen poetry as like Shakespeare kind of, vibes.
Yeah.
That's because I haven't dived into like poetry as a whole. But to me, yeah, that's the first thing I thought. I was like, okay, this is poetry. Bang. We got to see this from an art perspective, not from a, is what she's doing progressive?
Right.
You know, like I get the language she's using is very triggering for white people. It's triggers that white fragility that they have. But where are you directing your anger is my question. Like, direct your anger in the right place. Understand that it is an art form. It is poetry. Yes, we get it as public funding. But who are you guys to decide? You know, and these are people who are advocates for free speech. They're like, free speech, free speech. So if you're yelling free speech on like your platform, allow it to happen. And it's art. It's not like she's going to create an entire like business around destroying white people. It's just a freaking poem. Like, yeah, but that was my thoughts.
She's not, just for the record, we're not encouraging violence.
Yes,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's just like dance.
Yeah.
Like dance, the way you pick your gel.
Like crumping, right?
Crump.
Yeah.
White people say it. Like, you know, whether you're white, European, Latin, or Chinese, say what you gotta say.
Yeah.
Are we too black?
Yeah.
Is my voice too thick? Like, say it. How she swear it. I think they've been a little bit too afraid of, you know, saying what they like. Say it. I think it's art. And, as Indigenous and Pacific people, I think we will respect realness.
Yes.
Because as an artist, you would be like, oh, that's how she's feeling.
But that's how, if I had older sisters, like, but I've got older cousins, I can hear them saying that. I'm like,
that's why I laughed. I was like, this literally sounds like after school and I like, piss someone off.
Someone off like on the playground, and then you're like, you say that to that dude who, trying to step you out. But she's saying it to James Cook.
Exactly. I think, and also because when you were saying it as well, I was like, I haven't seen Saw like swear like the way he's swearing at. So even to me, when you were swearing,
we haven't hung out enough then.
I was like, whoa, this girl's keeping it like, she's coming out. She ain't even afraid of.
She's not afraid, and
she's not afraid. Yeah,
I appreciate that boldness.
I have a rebuttal poem.
Oh yeah, let's go. Let's hear your rebuttal poem. Let's get it going.
Okay, it's called "But He's Dead Now." All right.
But he's dead
But
now.
he's dead now. James Cook invaded our countries, spread syphilis and different diseases around the world. Look at what you've done. But you can't, because he's dead now.
He's dead now. Drop the mic.
Boom.
James Cook.
Where's your thingy?
Oh, yeah. James Cook. The British came and stole New Zealand land, Australian land. All these different countries from indigenous people. Look at what you did. But we can't do that anymore because you're dead now.
Whoa! I think Isoa has a very aspiring career in poetry.
I'm not finished yet. It's still a work in progress.
Oh, we're still going.
But James Cook, you know what? Look at the world you've made. You stupid. But we can't do anything because he's dead now. All we can do is encourage people to be better.
Exactly. And that's the positive note that I want to end with. Sorry if I'm ending your poem.
This is just getting the poem.
It's all right. You saw I had a poem, but he's dead now.
Oi. Sorry. I loved your poem.
Thank you.
I think you should embrace poetry in your future career. But now, honestly, I just want to thank Tusiata Avia for really putting into perspective for me of what poetry can sound like and be like.
I have an idea.
Yes.
I think they should offer Tusiata Avia a knighthood. Call her a dame. And then Tusiata Avia's like, I hate you, James Cook.
Is anyone gonna give her the mic?
We would have, honestly, we'd have
Everyone
to.
will probably be on their like toes, like, oh my god, what is she gonna say today?
Exactly. But shout out to Tusiata Avia. You
Queen Tins.
honestly clapping because you really, really made an impact with that. Not only to our Pasifika, but also to the frail white attitudes that we've been seeing online. So keep up the good work. I'm so proud of you, and you were so deserving of that funding. Now, since we have Tina as a guest, we've asked her what is the most inspiring quote, or what is a quote that she lives by. So Tina, I'm going to give the mic to you. What is the quote that you wanted to share with us today?
My quote after our epic ass poetry.
Slam poet. Mm-hmm.
Poetry slip.
Give me thrills. It is be you, be fearless.
Yep.
I love that quote. I love that quote because just like our sister there that did, I'm going to be honest with that. I have never seen any of her poetry. So now I know she's a badass queen. I'm going to be Googling her up, and I'm going to be like, girls, today we're going to be reading a poem to give us confidence before we go on the fashion.
Do
our
it.
fashion thing. But I love that quote because, just even coming into this, this place, going into anywhere where you feel uncomfortable, I think when you just switch on to being you, being fearless, you just kind of get into that zone like, okay, I ain't going to put any filters on. I'm just going to go out and just be me. So I kind of carry that with anyone, everyone, whether you're young, even to like the small kids.
Yeah.
Be you, be fearless. They're probably like, what is she saying? She's probably just shouting at me like, but I just love saying that because like I've seen a lot of my friends and our people, they kind of like don't really be themselves because they're too scared to be themselves because they're just kind of like, just like, that poetry, like, she could have like done it in like a, quiet, nice,
make their
Yeah,
feelings good.
She could have built like these beautiful metaphors and all of this sort of stuff, but she was just like, nah, here's the hammer.
Yeah.
Exactly. And like I love that vibe. She's being her. She's being fearless.
Yeah.
And like we just gotta be ourselves. Because if we're not, we're not gonna hear Saw swear like that.
Exactly. Exactly. I think that's true.
What? I don't swear in my normal language. You know what? Since you're calling me a potty mouth for all of my colourful usage of the English language here today, when you said be you, be fearless, what is it? It reminded me of a verse in Psalms.
Ooh, we're going
I'm going
biblical
back to-
today.
Yeah, we're
Damn.
going biblical.
Let's go.
Going back to church.
Psalms,
My dad's gonna be happy.
Psalms 139, verse 14. Lord, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made.
Woo!
Don't be afraid to be you. It encourages authenticity and that God has made you unique. And God has made you not 1 in a million, but right now the world population is like what, 7 billion?
Yeah.
You're 1 in that many billion people. And if you're watching this from the future, 7 billion right now. Almost 8 billion. Merry Christmas. So I love that. And and the thing about modern society right now is that it encourages people to be carbon copies of different things. And
Fingers are gonna come off.
Yeah, I would play my sound effect, but my phone's too far away from me.
That's right. Just make this clear for everyone who's watching.
But yeah, like, what is it? Yeah, nah, I love it. Don't be afraid to be you, and
I love that.
remember to shower every day, kids.
Yes.
Sprinkling.
Because remember, fearless. You don't want to make other people fear you.
Fear you.
Oh no, that's such an amazing slogan. I think I'm moving on too fast, but that's such an amazing slogan. Be you, be fearless. These guys have covered it. I'm telling you now, like, being yourself is the most easiest way to live life.
Right.
Don't try and put up a face. It's harder. It's harder. I'm telling you. It's level 99 hard. You got to go to this place and put on a mask, and then go to this place and put on a mask. Just be yourself. If people don't like you, it's okay.
Yeah.
If they like you, do some stuff together. But I hope that encourages you guys this morning. Be you, be fearless, be real. Good morning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back, everyone, to your Pacific Morning Show. It's Hana, Isoa, and we're here with the amazing Tina.
Wagwan.
Yeah,
Let's go.
Tina. So, can you please explain to us, the work that you do and some of the challenges that you face?
Yes. So, EBM artistry. First, I'd like to say, like, working with our people has been the greatest, like, life that it's been with, because you get all the emotions. You don't just get like one emotion. I think what really encouraged me to start this like scene of dance, talent agency, media, and all of that is because I just love our people, and there's like a lack of representation when it comes to people in the fashion or modeling scene.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love it. I started this talent agency because I was just with groups of friends who are always doing shows. Diamond, Seta, Nora, Talosia, St. Fina. And I was like, man, we don't really have a Pasifika Indigenous talent agency. We got groups of people who kind of do shows or do events or come in, hey, can you come model for this? Or you can come model for that. But it's always for like a set event.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we need you for this. So then I was like, Seta, actually, my sissy Seta was like, sis, let's do a call out. Let's just see who can come and help for this workshop. So we put it out there, and then there were like over 80 people from our beautiful community that reached out and said, I want to be a model. I want to do this. I want to come through. So I was like, man, how are we going to do this? This is just off Instagram. We don't even have a space, or we don't even have where we're going to put people in, where we're going to share and connect that with. So I managed to kind of just nudge down and put it on the goal. Lord, help me. And I was praying about it because I was like, if this is for me, like, let me know if we can make this happen. Yeah. So a lot of people came and helped. Like, it wasn't just kind of like, Tina, this is what I'm going to be doing. Like, it was more so every time we had a community event or we had like a show and stuff, I kind of gathered and kept the group like, we're going to be the face of Pacific Indigenous talent.
Amazing.
So then if OKV, Otarakai Village had an event, or out here Manukau or Pasifika, like, we're like, okay, we're going to go as a group. And whether it was any show, if it was a diverse show, if we're going to like the Indians or Chinese event, or we just kind of went as a group.
Amazing.
And then we kind of started with like 10, 15 people just, and this was
Hey,
out
that's
of
a
no
lot
resources.
of people. Then you should be very proud of that, to be honest.
Yeah. And it was, for me, it was exciting because when do we ever see our people kind of going into castings and stuff for our own type of talent? We're either going to Cam Talent, 62 models, or other people that are not of our descent, trying to establish our people. You're fit for this, I don't know, example, Jason Momoa thing, because you look like what Jason Momoa is looking for, or, it's like background talent, they've got, but I was like, hey, we should be monitoring and looking after our own, because they will feel connected to our own, talking to them, like even like sitting down in a room like this, how we talanoa and how we speak, it's different, because when they go into office, they're like, what am I signing up to?
And I think what you're doing is like sorry, Tina, I think what you're doing is very interesting, because just my experience as a Pasifika person, like when I grew up in New Zealand and I'm seeing these white women on TV with like, they didn't look like me.
Right.
And I my hair's thin now because I've given birth, you know, but when I was young, I had big hair and everyone was like, oh, it's Mahana's here. Mahana's back at school. And then, you know, having problem with
Look at
my
me laughing. I'm not
nose.
supposed to be laughing. I'm
one of the islanders who will understand the constant laughing because I'm that person. I
Yes.
laugh if it's sad. I laugh if it's happy. And I need to learn to control that.
Girl,
But it's my
the
thing
same.
too, so don't even
Yeah.
worry.
We
Yeah.
laugh at our pain and suffering. It's it's a trauma response.
It's definitely a trauma response.
It is.
So
I'm the same.
so from you know, being raised in school and seeing girls that don't look like me, what you're doing is very interesting. Because I would have never imagined myself to be a model. I would have already had the preconceived idea, like, nah.
Pretty
That's
much.
I didn't fit there. I didn't fit there.
'Cause-
So now that you're doing that, it's like crazy.
Yeah, that's what we're fed by the media, though.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. And like, that's what it is. Sis, you pretty much said it. And so it's like, we already have this idea of we're not good enough. So we're the talent. Like, we've been here for thousands of years. We came on boats, man. We came in canoes. Like, we knew we were like the talent, you know, so I was just kind of like, this is nothing new. When people can come to us or even bring us a paper and say, we want to sign you up, it's like, I already know who I am. So before you giving me that paper and telling me to sign up with your agency or something, it's like, it's not reinvent, but what's that word? Like, let our talent know you don't really have to belittle yourself or kind of like put yourself into a shower and say, oh, I don't know where to go because I'm not connected to people that are in the talent industry. But we have heaps of people that are doing it. Laura Swan, Saint Fina, Talosia, like Sheena, Tav Pacific, all of that. But we're doing
Maybe
it
it's
in our
accessibility.
separate,
Yeah.
accessibility. And, you know, we do things collaboratively. So like, I love the models. I call them models because I was like, you are a model. We got to stop saying that you're not. You know, we're so vain on Instagram and Facebook. I see it all the time. Like, girl, we got to put you in a pageant because I see you taking selfies all day, every day. And it's just like, how do we put that talent into, you know, find their niche or find something that they're credible for all sizes, you know, all sizes, all beauties, all types of noses, ears, afros, eyebrows, eyes. Sometimes, you know, we all kind of, certain people don't like the way our arms are or like our, you know, our hands are, which is weird because I every time I say this, it's actually happening, or the way your toes are shaped. And it's funny you say that. You know, it's just like, or your neck or your, and I'm just like, wow, in this platform and in this agency, we learn values of loving who you are before you even step onto the runway or step onto the stage. You know,
That makes me so angry. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it so. And I just think, like, you know, comes back to that quote, just be you. And you know what? I've been trying to find a way to put this into a platform, and I keep saying, oh, I can't do it on my own. I can't. But man, just do it. And when I finally came to that realization of being confident to do it at my age, because even some of our people are like, you know, wow, that's young to do a platform like that. But I'm like, why not? Like, girl, why not? You know, why not, auntie? Like, why not? Or why not? Why can't we go out and be big? You know, God is big. And, you know, I sometimes, you know, when my dad sends some messages about, you know, verses and stuff, I'm like, oh, here we go, another verse. But when I actually read into it, I'm like, we are made. You know, someone that's younger than me might have an idea that is bigger than me. But I think that's part of I feel of like my work and what my mahi is, to like connect that person into loving who they are, knowing that you're worth it, and like kind of be that next kind of voice to them and say, yep, you can do it. Go for that casting for New Zealand Fashion Week and show them what you're about. Like, what are we afraid of? What are you going to lose besides rejection? Which is, we get rejected all the time. You know, it's not like it's not nothing new. Like we get rejected if you're going for something. You get rejected. You didn't make the basketball team, or your mom's saying, no, you can't eat that.
You can't decline at McDonald's.
Which has happened.
Or you ask that girl out for ice cream and she says she's lactose intolerant.
Which has happened. Or, you know, which...
Yeah, no, hasn't happened to me.
What we're trying to say is rejection is a part of life.
That didn't happen to me.
Oh, we're getting real here.
sorry.
Getting real, yeah.
Oh
Nah.
my gosh.
And I think what you're doing. Sorry, you go.
No, I was just gonna say, I like that it builds confidence, but it also builds resilience.
Right.
We kind of see that a lot of it these days, and I'm still guilty of this myself. Is that sometimes when I fall off the horse, for lack of a better term, because I'm Tongan, sometimes when I fall off the horse, I just stay off the horse. But
Exactly.
you gotta pick yourself back up, and I'm so proud of you, Tina.
I am so proud of you. Honestly, the
it's
work you're
us,
doing is
man.
so amazing, and I find it very something I can relate to, and is a common experience amongst Samoan, beautiful Samoan girls. Not saying myself, I'm talking about other girls.
Talk about us, not
Yeah.
you, Suna.
Because in school, I may have talked about it lightly because we were just laughing. It was a trauma response. Esau was right. This is the third time he's been right today. When people used to mock me like for having big hair,
Right.
and just not like, I didn't feel like I looked like mainstream beauty. Bro, I actually went and cut my hair like a palangi. I actually did, and I had the mullet. The 2000s mullets that everyone had.
I know.
With the emo.
Yeah, I
And
know.
I was the worst. I was the biggest like emo, and I was like, okay, this is what is beautiful at the time. That's when
Exactly.
Paramore was coming out, red jumpsuit
I love them
apparatus.
still
I love
as well.
Paramore.
Yeah.
They're really great. But what we saw mostly during high school in that time was genge palangi, like white features and things like that. And I'm not saying white features are bad. They're beautiful.
Exactly. They are.
But they don't look like us. So
No.
that's where the misconception came from my end. So I think what you're doing is like so powerful, because I wish I heard what you said when I was 15.
Girl,
Yeah.
100%, 100%. And just to add on to that, sis, it's true. Like, we've got models in our group that are 5XL, 6XL, girls and boys.
Wow, yeah.
Skinnies. But every time they come in, I always call us a family, because no one is better than anyone. No one's prettier than anyone. No one is, because we have the same, issue. We laugh about it all the time, but at the same time, someone calling Meoli, like, black, or she's black, or her afro is just too bold for people to understand what they are. It's the same thing when it comes to the fashion and modeling industry. It's people need to understand what's going like inside of that person, and there's character behind someone, but we're trying to tap into it and be like, girl, it's...
And what they're going through internally is totally valid. But because you're a model in an agency, you're feeling like your body is a product.
Right.
Like, how have you been able to juggle that with your girls, like making them understand it?
So it's like, I think because we come back to that mainstream scene of like, when you're a model, you're a mannequin. So you just put the clothing on and you just look straight. But in our platform, you have value. You got a character, you've got a family, you got a community that's looking at you. You've got to understand to love yourself. And I know, as cliche as that may sound, like we say it all the time, or sometimes we're like, love yourself, be fearless.
But it actually have a very deep meaning.
Yeah, it has a deep meaning. And when we're actually sitting down with our models, and even we're at Mangere Town Centre for our workshop, and like our elders, our matutus that are sitting on the side are like, we haven't seen this, we're seeing our bigger girls, even our skinny girls, or even our different color shades of people walking up and down the town center, and our people are smiling because it's like about time. It's like, it's about damn time. Like Lizzo says, because we've been waiting a long time for this to happen. And I think it's more so of a confidence thing as well. Like, gap teeth. We're proud of that. Be proud of that. Your ears. Be proud of that stomach. Be proud of it. Because, yes, we see things like, oh my gosh, health and all of that. But why is that person the way that they are? Why is, there's got to be a story behind why someone is like that. And that's the difference between someone going into a mainstream talent agency to us as Indigenous people.
Right.
We understand that's a cultural thing, or sometimes it's a health thing, or something's happened in the family, or, we relate, we connect. It's okay. I hear you. I see you. That's what we say. Sometimes we see that in the community. I see you and I believe in you and I'm here for you. So now let's make your dream pop. And, we like to say in the mainstream, it's a talent agency, but in all honesty, fam, like, I see this as, it's just the way we see community, a platform, just trying to find light. Trying to find light and trying to make them know themselves, feel confident about themselves, and how do we share their story more, you know, to navigate. We don't want you to stay here all the time telling your story, you know, go out.
Exactly.
Say, I'm wearing some poly gear or I'm wearing Nike or something, but this is how I got here. It's through this. So I think a lot of the mainstream, they cut out
that part. Which I love Pasifika cultures, man. We're so caring. You know, these are the things.
When we love.
Yeah. Those are the things that they'll charge for, or like, that's your problem to deal with. But because of our like collective kind of caring spirit, through our cultures, it's kind of like in our minds, no, this is actually necessary if we want them to be productive and be great people and live great lives.
Right.
It's not only about the money that we're getting, we have to add value so that they can add value to us.
100%, sis. And I like to acknowledge some people that have been doing that.
For sure.
Like Nora Swan, she's brought this perspective in for the next generation that's coming in. Same Fia, Talosia, like these people that are working from the grassroots, from the ground up to where they are, they've just done so much. Every spec, Adi, like they just got such beautiful hearts, and they want our people to do well. And you're so right, money. Like it comes down to that, eh? It comes down to this.
Yeah.
What are you paying for my consultation?
Exactly.
To help you be great.
Oh, you want to talk about your feelings for 30 minutes? Extra $200, bro.
Girl, exactly. And just like what Mike King, how he started crying about mental health and like how much it has impacted him on his, because he's seen so many stories. Like I related to that because I'm like, oh man, I felt what he's going through, because people are taking this thing as oh, they gotta just get off their feet, man, and just, you know, but they don't understand like what's going through someone's mind. And you can relate that, what Mike King was said, to fashion, to modeling, to music, to, you know, how someone is being. It's so important. And like, I kind of got sad when he was saying that, because even the hosts they couldn't understand what he was going through. It was kind of like they didn't connect. They can't connect because they don't know what it's like to be low or be, because they're privileged, you know. At the end of the day, people are privileged, and you know, our people are not privileged, to be quite honest. We don't have the resources. We don't have, you know, I wish we had so much just to go and pick up these models and take them to a show and stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, we're just doing our best. And you know, 10 years after this, I hope someone comes into my place and says, yeah, girl, you go do your thing. I'm the next generation coming to Afi and move the talent forward so that we can see people not gatekeep. You know, this is my business, so I'm gonna keep it to me. No, you can't come in because I'm getting funding for this, or no, girl, you come in, make it even better. Yeah,
that's the like, you know, the Pasifika oceanic way of living, is that we always got something and we always shared it out.
Right.
And, you know, so we get knowledge, we share it out, we get food.
We share it out.
Sorry, I didn't bring any today.
You know?
No, that's all good, honestly. This water tastes great. I'm kidding.
No cheeseburger, please. I'm just happy to hear that you're playing such a big part in enabling people who don't, in enabling people to see themselves on the runway or on posters or, you know, in print media and all that sort of stuff. So, because a lot of times if you don't see yourself up there on posters or on ads, you're invisible.
Absolutely.
You know, could dance about it the whole day.
You know, and if you're invisible to society, then you might as well just not exist. So, you know, being visible and being seen, and, you know, loving the skin you're in, or loving the skin that you're in enough to change what you can.
Right.
There's, you know, it's all a part of real self-love.
Yeah. So I am amazed and in awe of what you're doing, because it's very personal for me, the work that you're doing. it speaks to a younger girl, the 14, 15-year-old me. And I'm so glad that, you know, I've gotten to understand what you're doing and the hard work you're doing. So, you know, we're going to support you. We got your back. And
Chop my sis. Boom! Sissy clap.
Yo.
we got your back, and I'm so happy for the work that you're doing, and I hope that it grows. We're here to support you as it grows, but we'll be right back with some more. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to your Pacific Morning Show. Here with Hana, Asex, cover card, Dashian, beautiful man, and Tina.
Woo!
Beautiful woman.
Tina Kardashian.
Tina.
Kardashian.
Welcome
Tina
back,
Onse.
everyone. We hope you're all having a lovely Monday morning. So Tina, in the work that you do, modeling and talent agency out there, scouting our people, how has your experiences been trying to juggle, you know, Western beauty standards and, you know, the standards of beauty that we have in our own Pacific communities? Has that been difficult, and how have you been able to try and juggle it?
Oh my God, love that question. I think reaching out to our people is super easy.
Mhm.
It's trying to not change or conform them. It's trying to put their beauty and their talent to fit us getting, like, you know, talent jobs or, you know, fashion shows and all that. Thankfully, we've been doing a lot of our Pasifika Indigenous shows, so it's been okay. It's been good because people are like, oh, that's our people. But when we look at the mainstream of what's happening with, you know, Aotearoa, when we look at beauty and when we look at the way we view it, I feel like if you open up a magazine, Women's Weekly, or if you open up New Zealand Herald, or you open up, you know, just the magazines that we kind of look at just to see, like, oh, our people are winning, or our people are... One is makeup. So makeup is a big thing in our community. I'm wearing it right now, so, you know, I've got a little bit on. Two is size, you know, the way the size that, like, you know, I'm considered, you know, plus size in China, I think, because this is quite big in China.
Real?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I think their size 4 is like, I mean, our size 4 is like their size 6 or something. Or no, that doesn't make sense.
Wow.
I think our size 6 is their size 4, sorry.
Wow.
Yeah, so like beauty standards in the Western has been a huge impact here in Aotearoa, because the way we look at pageantry or modeling, or if we look at how we dress and stuff, that comes from what the Westernized people are doing.
Yeah.
The way we, you know, I style our hair and stuff. I've kind of changed that way because I'm loving myself more than I used to when I was in high school, because I still look at E-Channel, you know.
Yeah, the magazines.
America's Next Top Model.
There's
Yeah.
Women's Day magazines.
Women's Day magazines. And I used to be like, oh my gosh, why isn't my bum looking like that? Or why isn't my eyelash playing around with makeup to get that, you know, look? But it's filtered.
Yeah, can
Like
I just say that American's Next Top Model show was super toxic?
It was.
You know what? But you know what? It was revealing of the beauty industry.
Exactly. As much as I loved it, and when you look back at it now,
you're
like, I can't believe Tyra told someone to cut their hair because they weren't good enough, or they weren't, or closed their gap.
Yeah.
Or, you know, your eyes are too big. And I think that's why the show is kind of like not as popular as it was before.
Well, sorry. I mean, but what if, you know, if that's how it was on the show, and they're mindful, they know that the cameras, and it's edited as well. Oh, without the cameras rolling,
that puts it on another level.
Who knows what's happening behind the scenes? Right.
Yeah.
You're so right. And that's what's happening with our events and our shows and stuff happening here as well. New Zealand Fashion Week's coming up. It's like the biggest fashion show in Aotearoa. And like, how are they, every time I click on the page or every time I see or view something, I'm like, I never see like someone that looks like us, you know, all the time. They may have a Sammy Sosa in there right now, like, you know, being like there, but it's always like they've got a standard that you kind of have to be, even with like Australian runways or Fashion Week or New York Fashion Week.
Yeah.
It's so like you have to have this particular look to kind of like win or see the game. But I feel like it's who you're connected with as well.
Yeah.
If you're not connected to like, if I was connected to Beyonce or something, I'd be like, oh, girl, I want us to be at the next, you know, fashion show. They'll probably, you know, round up some people to come from our talent agency and be at that show. But at the same time, they will strip away that person to conform to their side. So if I was to talk about the way, you know, westernized beauties have impacted us, it has impacted us hugely here in Aotearoa, because why can't, you know, someone that is of 5XL, 4XL, 3XL, 2XL, 1XL, or just as themselves come onto the front cover or come onto the, you know, be the face of something. We're kind of making our own now, like creating our own platforms, support people on their faces and stuff. So I love that even this podcast, you know, you're creating stories. You know, we've got Pacific platforms that are doing their own, but it's like, how do we make that mainstream? Because when we say mainstream, it's kind of like, oh, that's the top
what
of the list.
everyone knows. Yeah.
That's the top of the list. And I have to say as well, some of our Pacific platforms, they conform to that.
Yeah.
You know, they conform to that because they're like, you want to be at the top, you got to do this. Yes, you got to work hard. I understand. You got to work hard. There's heaps of challenges you have to go through in order to do that. But don't sell your soul to the point where you just don't even know who you are. You're stripped away your
entire
yourself,
being.
your entire being. And I think that's why I'm so big on this, because when I see someone, I think you can get there, but there's a shortcut you know, that you can just, you know, sell yourself straight away and you're already there. Or you can reel, you know, your character and build yourself, build experience and learn to be there. But I feel like the westernized attitude and the way they conform things have really come into Aotearoa, because I remember when I was in a pageant as well, you know, they're telling me how to, you know, put my dress on and walk and talk, and Tina, you should cover your gap. I think your hair is too. These things were happening, and this is the reality of what's happening in beauty. That's why I wanted to start this platform, because of the insecurities and because of the experiences that I experienced. I don't want them to go through that. There's other ways to kind of make our people, you know.
And I guess that's what makes you so unique, because you're bringing the well-being side to modeling as part of the job.
Right.
Whereas previously it was just like, no, this is what you need to look like.
And this is what
the size you need to be.
Yeah.
And I love that. That's great.
And sis, you're so right, because it's kind of like you have to work hard, but there's two things. When people say work hard, I was like, what do you mean work hard? Like work hard to strip themselves away, or working hard to actually get bookings and work hard on finding yourself, work hard and
building connections and being authentic to who you are
and building your voice. Because that's another thing with the models. I'm saying, be smart. You know, be smart. Every time you get booked for something, ask them, what do I get in exchange? And voice that out. Because sometimes, yes, I can do that promo shoot. I can do this shoot. You're doing things for free. And then it's like, you're going to be looked at as, oh, it's the yes crew. They'll do it because they want to get booked. That's why it's like working hard. You can work hard, but then where's the value of you being an indigenous model or someone coming into
purpose?
Purpose. So it's just like, be strong, but also use that mana that we've always had for thousands of years, and being a model, like being a model, it can be anything, musician, being a talent, being a dancer, because I feel like that's the westernized way of looking at beauty. Even the Filipino culture, when it comes to pageantry, it's like,
I've seen some of their stuff on TikTok, man. It's crazy. It's like from 6 years old, these girls are walking professionally in like massive heels on like a thin wood like this.
It's crazy. That culture there for beauty is like, you look dark, or you have a little bit of belly, or your thighs are a little bit big when it comes to pageantry or more. You get bullied online just because you don't fit that characteristic of how they want to see you on a platform.
Can can we like kind of apply that to our Pacific circles?
Let's
our
go
Pacific
there.
people, right? Make it relevant to us, because we all know if you're light skinned in Pacific communities, you're kind of held up as, oh, that person is beautiful.
Come
You
through,
know,
Soa.
the colorism is real.
And just to add a layer to that colorism, the Palangi or the Afagasis and Samoans always. I had my experience. This is a personal lived experience, guys. This is not factual, but many of the Afagasis would think they were elites because they had lighter skin.
Oh yeah,
So it's internalized as well.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Oh no, Tongans do that too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's it hurts. You know, growing up, like, let's be honest, I'm not even that dark skinned,
Right.
but I've been called black
Yeah.
so many times, and you just kind of internalize that, and you feel like disgusting.
Yeah.
And I still kind of feel that way, and I'm working on it. It's one of the many things that I'm working on. So yeah, it's how do you try, and how would you say would be the best way to kind of pry that sort of behavior out of our circles?
Oh, I love it. So you just literally said it how it is. And just to give a personal experience so people know I'm not talking smack, like, it happens in our community. Like,
Yeah.
it does. It really does. Whether, you know, your nose is bigger,
Yeah.
your ears, and that's what I'm saying, like, that westernized attitude has
That's
come
the
into our
impact.
yeah. That's
not
the
a
impact.
positive impact.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not. That's 100%. Because, like, coming into the pageant scene, coming into the modeling scene, we're still, you know, telling our people, you got to be this exact, you know, way of looking for beauty. Look at the Miss Tonga, Miss Heilala pageant that happened a few years ago with our beautiful, is it Galo? Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a massive backlash of the way she looked because she was representing Tonga. And even with the Cook Island pageant, I had the same particular thing. Whoa, we're taking a black girl to represent us at Miss Pacific Islands?
Yeah.
Like, are we sure? Like, she looks Fijian? She's like, and people don't understand our culture. This is where the understanding comes into it. It's just like, do you really know your people? Do you really know your culture? Do we really know ourselves? We have to, you know, we've got so much of an impact of how beauty is looked at. We're not even tapping into, it's only, yes, we've got a huge percentage of our people and number of people that are, you know, fighting to, yes, our beauty is this is beautiful, this is indigenous, this is amazing. But if we're going to be 100% honest, we still conform to westernized ways of beauty.
Absolutely.
And we can't hide that underneath the carpet because
colonized
that's
ideas of beauty.
Yeah.
pull my pukanas out. It's there and it's happening. And like, I relate to you so on what you said, because we have experienced that. Sis, I relate to you because we have experienced that. And it's about time we say that, because what's a prime example? A fashion show or an event. We look for the most beautiful person to represent us to go on the mic, or we look for the most, you know, who's got a beautiful reputation of beauty to come on mic. But we kind of look down at people who don't have that experience, or we kind of look down at someone who's, I would say, darker, or you know, who looks different, who doesn't look like the package that they're looking for. And I feel like, why is that? Why are we belittling our own people? Why are we? Because it just doesn't make us Pacific. And we say, we're celebrating Pacific beauty, whereas some of our own people and our own brands don't even do that. And that's challenging for some of our models and the people that are coming into the talent scene or industry to see themselves, love themselves, because they're still getting mocked continuously every day for being who they are.
Absolutely.
And if it's weight, beauty, hair, eyes, the way we look, sometimes we look at our own selves and we're just like, I've got a cousin, or I've got someone that has been mocking that person for being overweight, or, you know, some people, even on Facebook, I see it all the time. It's like when someone's just feeling themselves and loving every bit of themselves. Yeah. And then you see that one comment.
Yeah.
It's just like, that has to ruin of someone feeling beautiful. And it's just,
And like, from this conversation that we're having, I'm picking up quite a few things. Like the one thing I'm picking up is that Pasifika people have work to do in regards to reframing what we classify as beauty and what we classify as self-worth, and that we are worthy to be in front of cameras and on big screens, and our features are worthy to be on that. But my question to you, Tina, then is, what are some practical steps we can do, if someone is listening,
right,
to sort of move forward and adjust to changing that mindset that these Western beauty standards are not, final. This isn't the final form of beauty.
right.
Can we put up the final form Vegeta meme, please? Anyway, but what I'm saying is, it's not the final form, and that's such a beautiful thing that you're doing. But what are some of your advice for someone that's listening, or everyday listeners? How can they overcome the Western beauty pushed onto us, and understand a new way of seeing beauty?
100%. One is the media, the criteria of how we set the standard of beauty of who we're bringing on shows. Two is magazines. Like right now, what's a Pacific magazine that's sharing our stories? Who's a platform that's sharing that beauty of our stories as well? How are we coming into our community, workshops, or how are we bringing out the way we see beauty, at our community level, to say this is what beauty is.
Yep.
And yes, we're doing that at grassroots level, but at the same time, who's working at these platforms to get our people up there and get more stories of saying, this is who we are as Indigenous people. We love who we are. So I think it's more so of the simple steps of coming to our storytelling and letting people know this right. We're taking a step. We're saying it out. Having that fearlessness as our beautiful poetry writer that's taking a step. It's being real, being honest with how we see beauty. Another thing is making sure we are like, the double standards get to me, because we say we're all about the Pacific, and then yet we put someone who looks completely different on a front cover, talking about Pacific things.
Yeah.
The people on panels as well, when we have Pacific shows, or when we have, like, are they really Pacific? Do they really know our people? What's the criteria? Looking at how we're judging these things, even for pageantry as well. One thing is, it's like, we have the power to change it, but we have gatekeepers, and I hope they're listening to this, because like I seen it all the time. It's like we're selective on who's going to be representing, or who's going to be showing like our way of being Pacific and Indigenous. And I think like it's not dropping the ball, but it's being smarter, being proactive on the way that we see beauty for all different size, shapes and colors, and identifying, why is our hair the way that it is? Why is our eyes? Why do you look like that? Mika, who's a 5XL model, or why do you look like that? Christina, who is, a really skinny model. Do you know yourself? Do you know why that tattoo's on there? Do you know why you like
know yourself?
Yeah, we gotta know ourselves. Even for me, sometimes I have to read and like, look at, why am I doing this? Why is this person represented? Why is someone on that cover? 99% of the time it's because they fit the
description of
what they're
yeah.
looking for, and of this beauty standard that we see. But ultimately, fam, beauty is all sizes, all shapes. Beauty is, there isn't really a standard definition of beauty, because beauty is you, sis. Beauty is you, so beauty is everything. It's not a face, because we've defined beauty to be a face, or be makeup,
a certain type of feature, right?
Yeah. But beauty is an environment. Beauty is community. Beauty is when I walk in, someone's smiling. Beauty is, or when I walk in, someone's being real. Like that's real beauty. And that's why that poetry is beautiful, because she's being true to herself.
Exactly.
And
my gosh.
The way we identify beauty, we got to come back to the steps, because people have really changed the way we see beauty to this day. And I think back in the day when we, like, I would say back in our ancestral times, I'm going to take it back to Indigenous times, when we used to just not really put so much pressure on how to be beautiful. Girls used to just be natural.
Exactly.
Yeah, and just to
can see it in
culture
our
culture was a big thing. And I'm not saying that we're not doing that now, fam. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm just saying, like, all things are beautiful, and don't let one standard, define all of us and say we got to be looking like this. No, you don't need to look like that. Beautiful is everything. Beauty is everything. It's finding the invisibility in someone and bringing that visibility out. So I just, honestly, I could go on and on about honestly, all of this. Yeah.
What a beautiful message. And that really got to me. That really touched my heart, honestly. I don't know why, but I have to sing this. I have this weird thing that happens in my head. She's beauty and she's grace.
She's Miss United States. Miss Congeniality.
Shout out to Sandra Bullock. One of my favorite films growing up. And I kind of like that film. The comedy was good. And
that was she, I fobbed out. See? That's a film that shows, like,
the balance of it all.
Yeah.
Like, you could see the struggles that the girls went through for everything. But thank you so much, Tina, for coming on and sharing your message. This is so valuable to us. This is not a last episode for us. We're gonna have more.
Yes.
I feel like there's so much value you can add to our Pasifika audience and the youth that are listening right now. But thank you so much, Tina. Any last words, Isoa?
I haven't seen that movie.
Miss Congeniality, oh my gosh, part 1 and part 2.
That's been the movie heaps of times at 7 p.m. on TV2. The free TV that everyone used to get.
Our TV was broken a lot growing up.
Oh my gosh, so who was...
Yeah, exactly. But thank you so much, Tina, and good morning, everyone.
Woo!